Hello and welcome to sportsbookreview.com. It's the first of the four Grand Slams this season, and joining us is Joao and Alex from Need for Tips. Guys, great to have you on board. How's everything going?
Everything is going smooth, despite the fact that it's Saturday. We can't wait for the Australian Open to start. I feel surprises, I smell surprises from the first till the last moment of the tournament. On the women's side, on the men's side, I think that Federer is gonna take the tournament again.
All right, well, starting off strong there, Federer to take the tournament. Joao, how's everything going with you? And what are your thoughts of this season's tournament?
Yeah, it's everything great from this side. Thank you for asking. In terms of the tournament, both are very unpredictable on the men's side because of the many injuries that are affecting the top players. Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal. Andy Murray is not going to play. He had a hip surgery and is going to be away from competition for 6 months. Stan Wawrinka also struggling with a knee problem. He said that he's going to compete. He announced that like 3 hours ago, but he also mentioned that he's still not at 100%. So a lot of doubts. Federer is the favorite, as Alex mentioned, the clear favorite, and the one that seems to be at 100% physically. But it's going to be a very, very interesting tournament and very unpredictable.
Very, very unpredictable. And also on the women's side as well, obviously without Serena Williams, we've got on the women's side without Serena Williams, wide open there. And then on the men's side, full of injuries. So let's kick off. Obviously, the draw is out, so we can look at quarter betting as well. Both of you right now, I know, Joao, you don't generally like to play futures. Are you playing Roger Federer right now? You can get the odds of 3 with Paddy Power.
No, I don't like those odds for Roger to win the tournament. Personally, I had a bet a few weeks ago on Djokovic, although it was not the best timing. I was expecting him to play in Doha, and he all the interviews that he gave before that indicated that he was going to be in Doha, that he was already fully recovered for that tournament. But just 2 or 3 days before playing the Abu Dhabi exhibition, he said that he experienced again some problems on his elbow, and he withdrew from that exhibition tournament. He withdrew from Doha. He already played an exhibition match against Dominic Thiem. He played very well there. I think that he can create problems here. He can go all the way. But the thing is, how is his elbow going to react and to handle the situation? But seeing how he behaves on the first match can be a good indicator. I think his price, the last time I checked, was around plus 700. So it's 8 on decimal odds. So it's a pretty interesting price for a player that already won this tournament 6 times. Is one of the most successful players in the tournament history. Although the tournament since 2017 is played on faster conditions, the Serbian is still a very dangerous player in Melbourne. And if he's fit, if he is recovered, I think that he'll be my number 1 choice to win this tournament.
Well, there we go. What do you think about that, Alex?
A lot of great information, like always, from Joao. Cody mentioned in the chat that he likes Wawrinka as a dark horse, but as Joao said, he's slightly injured, and he might even not play the entire first match, and maybe he will exit the competition really fast. So I think that you guys should rewind the tape, let's say, and hear exactly what Joao said about injuries and health problems from all the players, because this is the most important information in a sport that is a single sport. It's not a team competing, is only one person. So if that specific person is having some problems, for sure it's a no bet, a no go. Or how do you like that? Yeah, but I love how Joao is putting the problem, like always. He is the legend of the tennis betting predictions and tips.
Yeah, we did a tennis video last week, Joao, and you were missed. They were, where's Joao? They said he's coming, not in the same capacity. We'll be covering the tournament a little differently. Normally we did daily plays. This time we're going to look round by round. So we'll be back. Next time we're going to be back is Tuesday. Just looking at the schedule, Tuesday 7:30. I think that's 8:30 Eastern time in the morning. So do follow us there. Dalo4, good to see your name over there. And also tennis betting. I'm giving up football betting for 2 weeks. I'm sick of it. I don't blame you. That happens. I tell you what, anybody who backed Real Madrid has lost some money there. Stay away from that team right now. Crazy. All right, so next question I want to ask is, this is to Alex, who has the draw been favourable to? Because obviously most people like to bet futures after the draw has taken place because we know who's going to be challenged. Who's the draw been most favourable to?
I think that Novak Djokovic has a really strong draw with Zverev, with Dominic Thiem, Bautista Agut, Gael Monfils. I think that the easiest draw is Federer. Once again, Federer has the easiest draw. But also I like the second quarter with Grigor Dimitrov and Nick Kyrgios, Joel Fritzonga, Kevin Anderson and Jack Sock. I like that second quarter a lot, and I think that Nick Kyrgios will win that second quarter, and for that we have 4.0 in terms of odds.
Nice. Do you agree with Alex there, Joao?
Yeah, I think that Nick Kyrgios can create some problems on this competition. He's on the top half of the draw, and speaking first about players that had a good draw, pretty much everyone that is on the top half of the draw had a very fortunate draw, because on the bottom half you have Federer, you have Djokovic, you have Zverev. It's a very tough. You have Del Potro, Goffin. So all the players who have been doing very well lately are on that half, and on the other side you have Rafael Nadal as the main favorite to win that half and reach the final. But as I mentioned, the Spaniard is also struggling with some problems on his knee. He withdrew also from Brisbane. He played an exhibition match against Gasquet and he lost. That was very poor performance from him. And although he's the favorite to win, I think that Nick Kyrgios, it's the player that can create problems here. But it's always not only the tournament is unpredictable, Kyrgios is even more unpredictable. You never know what's the Australian's motivation. But if he's up for the task, as he did in Brisbane, he can beat pretty much anyone with his big serve, and the fast conditions on this event will suit his powerful game style. So the Australian to reach the semi-finals to win the quarter at 4 is a pretty interesting approach. Let me just check very quickly the prices for him to reach the final, which would mean beating probably Rafael Nadal in the semi-finals. He already did it in the past, and that could be also a good approach. You can check that very quickly, the price for Kyrgios to reach the final.
Till that time I want to mention that about Stan Wawrinka. Stan Wawrinka is playing the first match with Berankis, number 138 in the world, from Lithuania. And you can see in the odds that Wawrinka has a problem, because normally if he was fully fit, he was maybe 120, 1.25. Now he is 1.5 and Berankis 2.6. So you might take that bet from now for Berankis to win against Wawrinka at 2.6. I think that's pretty good odds.
Just to mention, the odd on Kyrgios to reach the finals at 8. About that match that you mentioned, it has been a massive drift on Wawrinka's odds. I think it opened around 1.35, and the last time I checked on Pinnacle, we had around 1.55. Just one indication for those who like to follow the Berankis trend, and also to the fact that Wawrinka is injured, the better approach is to find a sportsbook that pays after just the first point or the first set. Because if you place, for example, on Bet365, first point. I know Bwin does it. I don't know anymore.
Just Bwin. Just Bwin does from the first point. Yeah. After that, there are a lot of books that are first set. Yeah.
Yeah, first set Pinnacle does it, so it's a good approach. Although personally, I couldn't do a bet on Berankis. He's a very talented player. He was a very promising young player, but mentally, it's just that kind of players. When the moment comes, you know that he's going to mess it up. And personally, I don't like betting on Berankis. But yeah, due to Wawrinka's problems, Berankis might not win this match, but Wawrinka might lose it by retiring. So that is also a possible approach here. But I would avoid betting on Berankis just because I hate his mindset on the big moments.
Well, some obviously, like last season, there was a couple of players that were noted to look out for. I did ask this question as well to Whale Kappa, who joined us last week. We've got some young players, up and coming like young players. Obviously, Zverev being one of them. Is he or any other players ones to watch in this competition or this year, Joao?
Yeah, we have about that. One of the matches that I want to talk about that involves two of the most promising young players on the ATP at this moment. Denis Shapovalov from Canada with 18 years old, and Stefanos Tsitsipas from Greece, 19 years old. Both are the future of tennis, and we should see them in the top 10 in a couple of years. I think that Shapovalov will get to that level quicker than his opponent. He's already in the top 50 despite his age, and he showed already in the past that he knows how to play on the big stage. He mentioned also in a recent interview that he loves to play on the biggest courts with a full support from the crowd, and the fans love him everywhere he plays because of his game style. He's very, very energetic. Everything he does is explosive on court, and I'm personally surprised the price that Shapovalov has to win this match. The opening prices on Pinnacle were even more surprising, around 1.92, 1.95. Now you have 1.81 at this moment for the Canadian to win. Still a decent price in my opinion, although Tsitsipas is also very talented. The Greek is still not at the same level as the Canadian. He also, I think, he never won a match on a Grand Slam main draw, and he never defeated a top 10 opponent. He got a very good win against Goffin last year, but Goffin was not a top 10 at the moment, and this year over Gasquet. But Shapovalov should be the best of the two, and this price is a very interesting one, and these are two young players to keep an eye on this tournament and also throughout the season.
Nice. Are you got any eyes on some younger players, Alex, that you think you can make some money on this year?
I think that me and Dale Four should meet for a beer sometime, because I don't know, he has a microphone on my house or he's reading my emails, but this is what I was talking. This is what I was writing here. You don't understand my writing, but I will just say it.
No one's reading your writing, Alex. Trust me. Even if there's a camera in your house, they're not reading your writing.
Okay, at least my emails, or how you say, he put the microphone into my computer here. Andrei Rublev is what I wanted to talk about against David Ferrer. I have him one of my top tips. I have 3 top tips from the men's side. Another future great player from my point of view. He's priced at evens with Betfair to beat David Ferrer. David Ferrer, an old-fashioned tennis player, great runner. Not his favorite surface. He likes to play it most of all on clay. So on fast courts, he will not arrive at his best level. So watch Andrei Rublev also against David Ferrer, because he's a really good price at 2.0 right now. Also Alexander Zverev. He not like he's the most youngest player right now. He is young. We talked about him last year. He did a really good, decent year from my point of view, and I think that he will do a better year right now. He's priced at 17 with Sky Bet to win the tournament. He's not my dark horse, but watch him. He's a player to watch also. And Dale aforementioned another bookie that is giving you a win after the first point if opposition retiring is Skybet. This is the same that I mentioned right now. That is most used in UK.
All right. So, going to sort of wrap up on the men's side. Going to ask if you've got sort of any first round plays. Joao, you've given one. Do you have any others?
No, for this first round, the one that I think can be not only the play but also the match most interesting one to follow is Denis Shapovalov, Stefanos Tsitsipas. Definitely the match to keep an eye. It's going to be on Monday, show court number 2, if I'm not mistaken, the third match on that court. So keep an eye on that court for a very interesting show, and hopefully Shapovalov will get the win.
Okay, who is currently your favorite? And obviously this is like off record, because I know you don't bet this, but who at the moment do you like, and who is your dark horse?
At this moment, if I had to pick a dark horse, would have to be Nick Kyrgios, also as Alex mentioned, because of the good draw that he has on the top half, and the fact that Nadal is struggling with some problems in terms of winner. I hope that Novak Djokovic is fit. It's ready to compete. I think that there is very good value on his price to win.
All right, and any other outright betting markets that you're looking at, for example, to win a quarter or anything like that?
No, the one that I liked the most was the one that Alex mentioned, especially not just to win the quarter, but also to reach the final. The one he has to win the quarter is at 4, and to reach the final at 8. Both are interesting approaches, and Nick Kyrgios is the dark horse on the top half of the draw.
All right, so Alex, I'm going to ask you the same questions. First is round 1 plays. What have you got?
Andrei Rublev to beat David Ferrer at 2.0. I have Feliciano Lopez to beat Sam Querrey at 2.16. And I have Bjorna Čorić to beat John Millman at 1.75. To win the quarter, yes, the best option is to bet Nick Kyrgios. The dark horse I mentioned with Well Capper, that we have him as a dark horse to win the tournament, but at least to reach the final is a great bet at 8. But you can always find a really good bookie to close your tip, to cash out before that time arrives. So you take some money from your wins. And I love Federer to win the tournament despite not being such a high odd on him.
All right, fantastic. We're going to head on over to the women's. Just before we do make sure to check in daily sportsbookreview.com, odds market and bookmakers review. We've got Joao writing daily articles. We've got Alex over on Twitter, bookmakers news and odds market, daily tips. So make sure to catch all of that. All right, over to the women's, and boy, is this wide open. And I think just looking at the outright prices really gives you a sort of a lay of the land. You've got Svitolina up at the top there, 9, and then Simona Halep also priced at 9 there with Boyle Sport. Now, Simona Halep, Alex, I know you said, with your heart, obviously you want her to win. She's got the tools to be able to, but mentally it's sort of her mind that sort of held her back. Is this the season that she can triumph over her mind? Is she worth a sort of a bet at that price?
Tough question. Yes, she started the year in style by winning Shenzhen, not giving any opportunities to her opponents. He lost her contract with Adidas. Adidas didn't want to sign her for another year. She's negotiating right now with Nike to offer her $2 million per year. The rumors said that she already signed with Nike and she will wear Nike, but she said today that no, she will wear a no-name brand. Imagine number 1 in the world wearing no name in a tournament. How is that? This is impossible. Let's not comment about that. Let's go further. I like to see Sharapova making the draw from Australian Open. How you say, after she picked up some pills and stuff like that. But I'm not going either there. To be realistic, I don't think that Simona Halep will win. Yes, I truly want her to win. She doesn't have a great quarter. I don't know, she has a really big disadvantage on her quarter, but the player to watch, and I think that the winner of the tournament, and I found some great odds on something. Betfair is giving you the choice of betting like that. Simona Halep, Caroline Wozniacki, or Elina Svitolina to win the tournament at 3.0 right now. So, doesn't matter whom of those three will win the tournament at 3.0.
Wow,
I will take
fantastic. That. Yeah, I'll take that one too. And just talking with Simona Halep there, obviously she's drawn with Pliskova. That obviously will be her biggest competition here. Do you think, so Simona Halep's 3.25, Pliskova 3.75. Out of those two, who would you predict, this can be off record obviously, to win the first quarter? Or do you think it's very, very close to call?
I think that Simona Halep has a slightly advantage on Pliskova. She's running a lot. She improved her service. If everything will get on normally and logically, Simona Halep should easily win that quarter. But you never know. As we always talk, as you mentioned, also mentally problems all the time. She needs a psychologue to start to be calm. But I think that she started the year really good, and her position right now mentally is a strong one. So if everything goes as planned, she will definitely win that quarter.
Yeah. Joao, the bet that Alex just mentioned there with the possible 3 players to win, what do you think of that bet?
WTA is crazy. The tournament is so unpredictable at this moment. That first quarter, even you only mentioned Halep and Pliskova, but apart from those two, you have Petra Kvitova, you have Joanna Konta, you have even Ashley Barty. It's a very competitive draw, and that quarter has all those players. Petra Kvitova in a good day can beat almost anyone, and Joanna Konta also plays very well. Playing in Australia is also special for her since she was born there. Also in the second quarter, still in the top half of the draw, you can find other very dangerous players. Angelique Kerber, who just won the title in Sydney. Garbiñe Muguruza, despite her recent physical problems, she is always a player to keep an eye on the Grand Slams.
Sorry, Joao. What do you say about Muguruza? What information you have about her? She retired also from this tournament now.
Yeah, the one I noticed was more on Brisbane, and she had some cramps and she couldn't compete. In Sydney, I didn't saw many information about the injury. I didn't found information about the injury, but Muguruza has been struggling with some problems for sure. But on the Grand Slam, she's always a very unpredictable player. I think the problems are that she always had some problems on the thighs and on the legs. She experienced some problems in the past with injuries on that area. She's a very powerful player, so players with a lot of muscle tend to struggle with injuries on those areas of the body, but she can never be underestimated on the Grand Slam events. And just mentioning a couple of more players, you have Madison Keys, who reached the US Open final, Caroline Garcia, who made a huge run in the final tournaments of 2017, although she also had some physical problems in Brisbane. But it's very wide open, this top half of the draw. On the bottom half, still very competitive, but there's one player that, although she was not at her best in her debut, the price for her to win the tournament, I think, is too high, where the value is for a dark horse, which has to be Venus Williams, although she's already 37 years old, and she lost on the first round against Angelique Kerber in Sydney, but she already proved more than once that on the Grand Slam she can reach another level. She raises her game, and 34 for her to win due to her experience. She has a very tough first round. She might even lose already against Belinda Bencic, who is playing very well, but if she carries on, 34, it's a pretty interesting price.
Yeah, just trying to look as well for her to win, for example, where is it? I'm just putting up some odds.
34, if I'm not mistaken, was from William Hill, I think. There I found those.
Yeah, I was just looking as well. My odds aren't coming up, but to reach the quarterfinals, wondering what the price is for Venus Williams there, but it's not coming up.
9
to reach the quarterfinals. Is that a bet, Joao, that we should look at?
To reach the quarterfinals or to win the quarter?
To win the quarter. Sorry.
To win the quarter is to reach the semifinals.
Okay.
To reach the semis,
it's also an interesting approach, but due to Venus' experience on the final stages of Grand Slams, if she's playing there, you want to be with her. So going all the way for her to win can be a better approach, in my opinion. Although, as I said, if she has sometimes some bad days, she can even lose already in the first round. Would be surprising. Bencic is playing great, and the sportsbooks know that it's 50-50 that match. I think Venus is 1.97 and Bencic 193, due to their margins, of course, the last time that I checked on Pinnacle. So it will be a very close match. But if Venus can win a match or two and reach the second week, then she can go all the way and win the tournament. It's all about her physical condition and how she feels on court, because she has the game, and she proved last year when she reached the final and only lost to Serena.
Yeah, exactly. Who would you say the draw has been kind to, Joao?
The players on the bottom half of the draw for sure. Venus Williams is an example of that. There you also have Elina Svitolina. She had a very good draw for her. One of those two players can make the final there. Caroline Wozniacki is also the number 2 seed. She's on the fourth quarter, and she's the main favorite to win that quarter and to reach the final rounds also in Melbourne. Although she was not very impressive in Auckland, she was completely outplayed by Yulia Gorgas in the final for the second consecutive year. Wozniacki is a great competitor. She had a brilliant 2017, but if the opponent on the other side is firing winners from everywhere, is hitting the ball very aggressively, then she doesn't have the answer. She's a very great defender, a very consistent baseliner, but you tend to notice that most of the times the match is more on the other side. So if the other player can reach a very high level, Wozniacki sometimes doesn't find the answer for that. So Svitolina and Venus for the dark horse are the players that were more favored by the draw, in my opinion.
Plus, Natalie, plus the fact that is the start of the year, as we mentioned with the World Capper when we filmed. Anything is possible because it's the first Grand Slam. They didn't have a lot of training going on, not a lot of tournaments before the Australian Open. So everything might be like a really good thing for the dark horses.
Yeah, or sort of cash out options. So what would you say the advice to anybody looking at playing, certainly on the women's side as well, playing any of the outright markets? Are there certain markets that you should more focus on, or is this really maybe something to approach for the second week, Alex?
Yeah, I love Angelique Kerber to win her quarter at 4. She doesn't have an easy quarter, but I think that Garbine Muguruza will not be at her top level. She will not be fully fit. Sharapova, I'm sure that she will not make a lot of problems to Kerber. We have Caroline Garcia, Madison Keys. There might be a problem, but I think that Angelique Kerber is really strong right now to win her quarter. And of course, Elina Svitolina, but her odds are no value for her to win that third quarter, despite the fact that she is one of my favorites to win the tournament. My favorite to win the tournament.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask, obviously, first round plays here. Going to start with you, Alex. What are you liking right now?
I don't know what is happening today, but Dale just mentioned one of my top tips from the women's side. Cibulkova to beat Kaya Kanepi at 2.0. I love that bet. Venus Williams to beat Belinda Bencic at 1.9. Her odds, you cannot ignore those odds when it comes to Venus Williams in the first. I don't know the last time when Venus Williams lost the first round of a Grand Slam. We should look into a lot of tournaments lately. And I have one, let's say, surprise, but not surprise. Francesca Schiavone. She's very old. We know her. Joao knows her. Against Ostapenko. Ostapenko, she's mentally ill. We know that. She is mentally ill in the normal sense, a good point of view.
Understand, like Berankis.
Yes, exactly, somehow like that. Schiavone plus 6.5 games on the Asian handicap at 1.85. And I want to hear if Joao agrees with that bet.
Over to you, Joao.
Yeah. Just finished an article like 30 minutes ago, mentioning that match also, Francesca Schiavone against Jelena Ostapenko, that the veteran Italian can create some problems to the player from Latvia, and not only because of Schiavone's ability, but especially because Ostapenko is having a terrible start of season. It will be hard for her in 2018 to live up to the expectations after a great 2017. She's a player that when she's on court, she doesn't think much. It's all about hitting the ball as strong as she can. It can go perfect for her. She can beat Schiavone 6-0, 6-0 if she's hitting everything. But if she's struggling, and also the game style, Schiavone can create some problems, especially with the backhand slice. Is a kind of shot that doesn't give much rhythm to her opponent, and will affect Ostapenko's for sure. That shot. My only concern on that match, my main concern, is Schiavone's serve is not very strong, and Ostapenko can create a lot of problems in the return to serve. Just basically end the point right there. So Schiavone needs to serve at a very good level, at least I would say around 65% first serves in, to have some chances to compete and create problems. Yeah, the plus 6.5 or the over 17.5, both are great approaches for this match.
But Joao, also Ostapenko is struggling with her service lately, and also in 2017. I don't know what to say about, you said a great 2017. I think that she was very lucky. I think that she had a lucky Roland Garros there, not to mention how she won in the final. But I think that she will struggle big time.
She had a good year.
Struggle big time in 2008.
She reached the quarterfinals in Wimbledon. That was also a very good result. She won a title in Seoul in the final months of the season. Was a very positive year for her. Besides Roland Garros, of course, that Roland Garros was the peak of the season. But after that, the quarterfinals in Wimbledon were a very good result as well. But in the finals, we noticed already that she was decreasing the level. And this start of season, the defeats in the first two tournaments against Kristina Pliskova and Ekaterina Makarova, she was very inconsistent. And yeah, as you mentioned, her service is also far from reliable. But the difference is Schiavone's game style is not a game style that she's going to punish the opponent's serve with winners, while on the other side, Ostapenko can do that. So the fact that Schiavone has a weak serve is more dangerous for her than Ostapenko having a weaker one, because Schiavone can't hit winners on the return on a regular basis as Ostapenko does. So that's why I was mentioning Schiavone's serve as one of the big problems for her on this match.
I think that Ostapenko will exit top 10 at the end of 2018.
All right.
It's very likely. Go ahead, Natalie. Sorry.
Yeah. So, what are your favorite plays there, round one, Joao?
Yeah, the one that I think has the most value is also one of that Alex mentioned, is Dominika Cibulkova to beat Kaia Kanepi. I was reading an interview from Cibulkova a few days ago where she mentioned that she couldn't mentally handle the fact that she won the WTA finals in 2016, that 2017 was a very tough year for her, that she lost the confidence and the motivation to play tennis, and she decided to stop the season earlier than usual. Took a long break and focused on other things besides tennis, and after that she started training again, and that she rediscovered the love and the motivation for the game, and then in 2018 she'll play less tournaments, but when she'll do it, will be extremely motivated to win. And she did a good campaign in Sydney. Of course, she lost in 2 heavy sets against Kerber in the quarterfinals, but still she made a good tournament. And although Kaia Kanepi is always a dangerous opponent, a very hard hitter, and she did a great run at the US Open last season, but Cibulkova is a different player when she's at the Australian Open. She reached the final in 2014, and is always a very dangerous player, trying to put a lot of aggressiveness and energy on everything that she does on court. And although this might be a close encounter, I think that Cibulkova should emerge victorious at the end. It is a pretty decent approach for this first round.
All right. Any others, or is that's your main one there, Joao?
Yeah, that's the main one there. I think for this opening round, the Australian Open is, in my opinion, the toughest of the 4 Grand Slams, because most of the players have not played yet in 2018, or played tournaments that were the first of the season, so we couldn't see much of them. So it's a very dangerous tournament to approach.
Yeah, and I know completely off record here, but who do you think could win the first Grand Slam of the season, and who is your dark horse?
On the women's side, the dark horse has to be Venus Williams at those prices, 34. Yeah. It's incredibly high. If I had to pick a winner from what I saw, probably Elina Svitolina or Angelique Kerber. One of the two can lift the trophy at the end, but very unpredictable, and I wouldn't bet any money on any of those two at this moment. But if I had just to pick two, would be one of those two.
Yeah, okay. Alex, same questions to you. Dark horse and potential winner.
Yeah, I'm going with Svitolina, no doubt, for the winner of the tournament, and for the dark horse of the tournament. It's really hard to decide on the dark horse because the odds are, let's say Dominika Cibulkova at 81. No, at 67. Sorry.
All right, perfect stuff. That's wrapped things up. Again, we'll be back 7:30 or 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Make sure to join us. Also, subscribe to Bookmakers News, SBR Sports Picks, and Odds Market for daily picks there, especially Odds Market and Bookmakers News on Twitter. Thank you so much for watching. Also, the guy behind the camera you guys can't see is Larry. Thank you to Larry, and we'll see you soon, guys. Best of luck with your picks.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
Wait.